It is a beautiful day here in Constance, and as always, it's a great day to talk about piratery in R, so let's get to it. Today, we will be talking about Chapter 6 on basic data frame manipulation in YaRrr the Pirate's Guide to R. Trademark coming. Um, Actually, how do you get a trademark? I think you have to hire a lawyer and get money for that. Trademark might not be coming. We'll see about that. Anyway, back to the business at hand. In the last chapter, we talked about how to create a matrix, how to create a data frame, and the differences between matrices and data frames, and vectors and scalars. But now we're going to talk about really how to do some basic analyses on data frames. So first thing we need to do is get some data in that we can all work with together. And we're going to use the Pirates data set. Now, if you've already installed the YaRrr package, then you should already have the Pirates data frame. And I'll include instructions on how to install the YaRrr package in the comments section below. But to see if you have it, you can just try head of Pirates, see if you get a result. And if it's there, then you've obviously had it installed. If you're unable to get the YaRrr package to install, or maybe it's 100 years from when I made this and the package is somehow not there, then there's another route you can try, which is to download it directly from the web. So you can just use this command here. So use read.table, and then as the file argument, include this link. I'll also include this in the description link below. When I said description link below, I just pointed down, as if you could see that I'm pointing down. I gotta get used to this YouTube thing. Anyway, yeah, so you can just include this code. So put the path as the file name, header equals true, sep equals /t because it's tab limited, and as always, strings as factors equals false. And when you run this, as long as, of course, you have to be online, but you're watching me on YouTube, so you probably are online. Then when you run that, then you should now see the data frame in your working space. And just to make sure it's all there, again, head Pirates, and we look at the first few rows and it's all there. Okay, so we already learned a few functions on looking at data frames. So for example, the view command. If you run this, then you get to see the entire data frame in a new spreadsheet-like window within R. Now, unlike SPSS, you can't you can't edit the results manually. You need to do that with code. So don't try to do that, but you can at least get a quick look at the data frame and see everything that's there. And we can also look at the names. So let's look at the column names in the data frame, names of pirates. We see ID, sex, headband, age, sword type, and a bunch of other good things. Okay, so how do we access specific data within a data frame? So the easiest way to do that is with indexing with brackets. And we already know indexing vectors with brackets. So for example, let's say I have a vector A, which is 1 to 10. So let's just print A. And if you want just, for example, the fifth element of A, you just say A bracket 5, and that will give you the fifth element. If we want the first to the fifth elements, then we can just include a vector 1 to 5 in A. We should get 1 to 5 as a result because the first 5 elements are 1 to 5. We can get tricky with it and say, well, give me every second value from 2 to the 10th value in steps of 2. And we should get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And indexing data frames can be very similar. The only difference is now we need to have 2 indices. So the first one is the rows that you want, and the second one is the columns. So let's say, for example, we want, let's look at the head of Pirates again. Let's say we want the element in the first row, first column. So we want ID equals 1. So we just say Pirates 1, 1. And that gives us the first value. Let's say we want the element in the third row and second column. So this would be the sex of the third pirate. Let's say pirates. And then the row, what did I say, 3. And the column was 2 for sex. And we see that the third pirate has a sex of male. And just like in vectors, or when indexing vectors, we don't need to include just individual scalars as the indexing arguments. We can do whole vectors. So let's say I want the first 5 rows of the data frame and columns, I don't know, 5 through 8. I can say pirates, and then the first 5 rows, so 1 to 5, and then columns is 5 through 8. And here we've got the result. So here's the college, tattoos, treasure chests, and pirates values for the first 5 pirates. Now, if you want to look at an entire row or an entire column of a data frame, then you can leave an index blank to get all rows or columns. So for example, if I wanted just the first row, I could say pirates, and then I just leave, or I say I want first row, but I want all columns, so I can just leave that blank. And when I run that, then I get all columns for the first row. We can do the same thing, of course, with columns. Let's say I want the first column of pirates, then I leave the first element blank and just say comma 1. I run that and I get everything in the first column. Now you can get, of course, a bit trickier with this, just like in vectors. So let's say I wanted every 10th row of the pirates data frame. So every 10th row of pirates. So what I can do is create a row index where I say give me the sequence from 10, let's be thorough here, oops, from equals 10 to equals, and we want it to be to the last row in the data frame, so I can just say to n row pirates, which if we run just n row pirates, we see that there's 1,000 rows. So I'll say I want from 10 to n row pirates by 10. So this will give me every 10th row, that will be the index. Let's just run this. So I want the 10th row, the 20th, 30th, 40th. Actually, this is going to be a bit much. Let's say in steps of 50, and we'll start it from 1. So now let's look at this sequence value. So we want the first row, 51st, 101st, and so on. Now I can just set pirates, and for the row value, I just say row index, and I want all columns. Doesn't know what row index is because I didn't run this command yet. And there we go. So here we have the first row, 51st, 101st, and so on. So you could use some funky indexing like this if you wanted to, to just get a few not really random values of the data frame, but a few selected ones. Okay, so indexing is one way that we can get specific values. Another function, or it's not really a function, more of an operation we're going to use a lot, is the $sign. And $sign gives you a named column. So again, let's look at the names of pirates. So here are the names. What if I just wanted the sex column? Then I could say pirates, $sex. If I run that, then I get that column. Now let's look at, I don't know, pirates. Oh, what else is in here? Age. Then here's all the age values. So the result of this operation will return just a vector. If you want to include multiple values using the $sign, you can say pirates $sign. Actually, does this work? No, I don't think that works. No, what we want to do is include a vector of string values. So for example, I could say pirates see sex, age. Yeah, that'll work. So that will just give me these two. Well, trust me, it is. Actually, let me just look at the head of this. Yeah, so these are just the sex and age columns. So if you want to get multiple columns from a data frame, you can use that. If you want to add new columns to a data frame, you can also use the $sign command. So let's look at pirates again. Let's say I wanted to calculate, add column with age divided by tattoos. So I want to know how many tattoos someone has for every year in their life. So I can just say pirates, and let's call that tattoos per year. And then I'll just use the basic assignment operation. And now I'll just treat each vector, I'll just enter the values like vectors. So that's pirate tattoos divided by pirate age. And doesn't know what pirate is because it's pirates, not pirate. And if I run this, no error, usually means it worked. Now let's look at the head of pirates again. And you can see now we have our new column in here, which is tattoos per year. So the first value here, 0.366, should be tattoos over age, so 11 over 30. Let's just make sure that worked. Yep. So that's what that column is. An important thing to keep in mind is that you always need to repeat the name of the data frame when you are adding or when you're manipulating it. So if I tried to rerun this command and I said, okay, make pirates tattoos per year, but I don't specify the data frame again. So if I tried this, R will yell at me because it says, I don't know what tattoos is. So if I try to just run this command, that's not defined. But if you say pirates first, now it knows, okay, you're talking about a column in the pirates data frame. So you need to make sure you repeat that. There is another function called with that helps you avoid having to retype the column names frequently, but I'll discuss that in a minute. Another thing you might want to do at some point is change the names of columns in a data frame, and that's quite easy to do. So let's look at the names again. So here are the names. Let's say I wanted to change the sex names to gender. So what I can do is just say names of pirates, but then I index that. So in this case, I want the second one. So let's take the second one, but now let's change it by assigning gender to this. If I run this, no error, that's good. Now let's look at names pirates, and we see that the second value is now gender. So to change names of columns, just do reassignment with indexing on this names function. Okay, so far we've done indexing. Wait, is that what I want to talk about? No, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so what I do want to talk about is, remember before I said that you need to constantly retype the name of the data frame, but there's a function called with that helps you avoid retyping data frame names over and over. Now what the with command does is first you start by saying with, then you include the name of the data frame you want to work with, and then comma, and now everything you type after this will assume that you're always referring to something within the pirates data frame. So if I say with pirates, comma, and then say age, then this will give me the age values in the pirates data frame. But you can use this with other things as well. So for example, let's say I wanted to repeat this assignment up here. Let's take this command. And now instead of having to retype pirates all the time, I'll say assign tattoos per year of pirates, but now we'll say with pirates. And now I can get rid of these other times I had to say pirates. And now if I run this, then it's just repeating the command, but now I don't have to, again, retype pirates over and over again. So I'll be using this with command a lot. All it's doing is just saying apply this data frame to everything else I say. All the other objects I'm defining are in that data frame. Okay, so now let's talk about subsetting data frames with logical vectors. So, for example, let's look at pirates, and let's say I wanted just the data for pirates whose, let's say, whose gender is male. So first I can create a logical vector that indicates which rows are gender equals male. So to do that, I can say male pirates.log and assign that to pirates gender equals male. And if I look at this value, this is a logical vector which of course, if we wanted to know how many men are there, we can just take the sum of that. Sum of male pirates.log, and there's 480 males. We can take the mean of it to see what percent of males there are. 48% males. But now what we can do is we can take this logical vector and index the data frame. So let's create a new data frame called pirates male. And for this, we'll take pirates, but we'll index, so we only want the rows for which pirates gender is male, so we can just type male pirates.log here and enter a comma. So now we've got a new data frame, pirates.male, and if I look at that, so let's look at head of pirates.male, we see that we only have male pirates in this data frame. We can also subset a data frame based on other values. So let's say we only wanted pirates that wear a headband and have more than 3 parrots. So I'll just call this pirates group 2. So I'll say pirates, and in this case, I'll just type the logical index directly into the indexing. So I'll say pirates where with pirates, and I want, what did I say? Headband equals yes, and parrots is greater than 3. Add the comma, and then again, because there's nothing here, that means I want all columns. And now let's look at pirates group 2. And these should be pirates only with a headband and only that have more than 3 parrots. And if we want to see how many there are, we can just look at the dimensions. And we see there's 254 rows, 15 columns. So 254 pirates satisfy these criteria. So this indexing is one way that we can, or logical indexing is one way we can subset. There's a slightly easier command, which is the subset function. So let's look at the help menu for subset. And you see that it has a number of arguments, mainly the object you want to subset, so the original data frame, and the subset and select arguments. And let me just give you an example of how that works. So let's say let's make it simple. Let's say, again, we just want, let's look at pirates again. Let's say we want, pirates whose age is 30. So I can say pirates, age 30. Let's assign that. And first, now we'll say subset. And the first thing we do is define what the original data frame is. In this case, it's pirates. And then we use the subset argument. And then we just do the logical vector like we defined before, just like up here. But in this case, we don't need to repeat the name of the data frame because we've already defined what it is. So we can say subset equals age equals 30. Okay, so let's run that. And now if we look at pirates age 30, these are all the pirates whose age is 30. There's a lot of them, so let's look at the head. So head, pirates, age 30. Ooh, got a point there. What did I do? Pirages. Didn't mean to do that. Pirates. Okay. So now we've got a new data frame, pirates age 30, that only contains the pirates whose age is 30. We can make it more complicated if we want. Let's say we want age of 30 and gender is female and I don't know, favorite Pixar movie is up. I don't even know if we will have any because we're getting pretty specific here, but let's try it. Let's look at this subset and, yeah, looks like we got some of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pirates who are female, age 30, whose favorite Pixar movie is up. Now, in addition to the subset argument for the subset function, there's also this select argument. You don't need to include this if you don't want to, but what this does is it says, here you can specify exactly what columns you want. So let's say we only want the column tattoos. I think this will work. Yeah. So select says, just give me the tattoos column. Let's say we want tattoos and age. Then we get the tattoos and age column. I frequently just, I don't know, I like to include all columns usually when I'm subsetting, so I almost never use select, but if you want to, then that's what that argument will give you. Okay, so that's how we do basic subsetting of data frames, but now of course we can combine subsetting with summary functions that we've been using before on vectors. So for example, let's say we wanted to know what's the mean age of pirates. Well, we can just say mean of pirates, and we only want the age column. And we see here that the mean age is 27.395. Or what if we want to know, again, let's look at all the columns. What if we wanted to know, a table of the headband use? So we can say table pirates headband. And we see that 98 pirates don't wear headbands and 902 do wear headbands. Okay, but now let's combine these basic summary statistics on vectors, but now we can do it on subsets of vectors. So let's use logical indexing. So let's say, what's the, I don't know, mean number of parrots owned by pirates, let's see, who wear headbands. So we can just say mean of parrots, but now let's index this. We only want values for which pirates headband equals yes. And we get 2.6375. So the way this code is working is saying, give me the mean of parrots from the pirates data frame, but only the values for which headband is yes. Now as you can see, I had to repeat pirates twice here. We can use the with command to make this a bit simpler. So with pirates, give me the mean of parrots, but only the values for which headband is yes. And we get exactly the same result. It's just a little bit easier to look at. Okay, I think that's mostly what I wanted to cover now. So if you need more examples or details, be sure to check out gosh, now I really sound like one of those YouTube guys. Yeah, be sure to check out my blog and check out my other books and like me and blah, blah, blah. So I try not to do that too much, but yeah. So if you want more examples, just go to look at the book on chapter 6, and I've gone through a few more examples. But that's the basics of how to do subsetting on data frames.